So we're going to start just, I'll have you start on your backs with the knees bent. And we're just going to do a little work in the hips to start with. You can take the hands and place the palms right at the femur point as you press slightly on one hip and femur away, and then switch. So we're just getting a little space, creating some space at the low back. Oh, and there goes my back cracking. Getting a little pop. Like I said, creating that space. Go back and forth a few more times. Maybe pause on one side if it feels nice to give a little pause and stretch for a moment, and then switch. And once you've gone a few more times moving, we're going to hug the knees into the chest, and you can use a strap if you wanted to. Hug the knees, take a little moment to roll around. See if the feet are uncrossed. Let the shoulders be nice and heavy, and we're just going to do some diaphragmatic breath work here. So we'll start connecting movement and breath. As you inhale, you'll allow the belly to swell, and the knees will press away, and then exhale. Hug the knees a little bit more closely, pushing down into the low back. So this really slight pumping action where the knees come away as you inhale, making room for the belly, and exhale. And I'm being a little bit more dramatic about it than maybe you are. But just stay here. Feel free to close the eyes as you start to get movement and breath working as one. Maybe you want to hug in a little bit more, a little bit deeper stretch along the sacrum. A few more. Nice slow opening into class. And then we'll bring the feet back down. You're going to tuck the tailbone so the low back is flat on the mat. Slide the fingers behind the head and interlace the fingers. We're going to use the thumbs to capture right at the occipital protrusion at the back of the skull. Bring the elbows towards one another, and we're going to do some curl ups. Inhale, and then exhale. Use the belly to lift the chest, keeping the low back on the floor. Plant the feet. Inhale, and exhale, curl up. So rather than trying to tuck the chin and have a round back, you want to attempt to have a long spine and just use that lift in the navel to buoy the chest up. 3 more breaths. Last one. And then go ahead and roll down. From here, we're going to take a big exhale. Inhale, open the elbows. Fill the belly, fill the breath, and then exhale as one breath, come on up. Inhale, roll down. So very mindful movements. Exhale, lift, roll, inhale, back down. Keep going. The sacrum and the feet are planted. Scotchy, come on. Exhale up. Inhale down. Opening the elbows. Keep going. And again, try to keep the chin away from the chest so that we have a nice long spine. And you might be going a little bit more slowly or more quickly than I am. We're just going to do 2 more. We're getting some heat in the body. And then heel yourself down, slide the legs out. We're gonna move into our half moon pose on the floor. So go ahead and take a moment to get the low back comfortable. And I'm gonna have a helper here. Slide the heels off towards the right side of the mat. And then the shoulders off towards the right. And you can have the arms nice and wide. You could take the left hand to the hip. So we're moving into this comfortable stretch in our half moon. Left ankle can cross over the right. Oh, no. Sorry about that. So the left ankle can cross over the right. Because we're getting a big stretch along the left side waist. I was doing the errands for my other job this morning, so I think that's what that was about. Forgot to turn off the phone, sorry. Lots of little distractions this morning. And then we'll unwind ourselves. Take a moment, let the left side waist settle down, and then off towards the right. So just about maybe 4 or 5 breaths, maybe a little bit more, to begin to open the side waist. Of course, the right hand can come to the right hip, look off towards the side or back and forth. Good morning stretches. Rolling back to center. Hug both knees into the chest. And then we'll take a little twist. Bring the right knee in, extend the left leg. Hug that right knee in really tightly. And then take the leg across the body. Reach the right arm above the head. And you could stay there, or if you wanted a deeper twist, peel the right arm off to the side. Feel free to look back and forth. Make this as dynamic as you want to. Soften through the low back. Right hand could rest at the sacrum. Maybe hug that right knee up a little bit more. So rather than just letting it flop to the side, you have a little bit of a grip. Bringing it up, that's going to get into a little bit different place on the low back. And then we'll unwind. Hug both knees in. Left knee squeeze in, extend the right leg. Draw that right leg across the body. Rolling all the way off to the side, left arm above the head. Maybe peeling the chest open. Keep hugging the left knee up towards the chest. And then unwind again. Roll back to center. We're going to hug in, curl up, and then inhale, extend the arms, and extend the legs for a nice big starfish. And then exhale, curl everything in. Contraction and then expansion. With the breath, inhale, expand, exhale, contract. Trying to enliven the fingertips, the toes. 2 more. Last one. You can plant the feet or roll along the spine. We're going to move up to a seat. And from our seat, a seated figure 4. Heel toe the feet a little bit wider and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Go ahead and take the fingertips towards the hips and roll the shoulders down and away, so we're opening up across the collarbones a little bit more. Grip with the fingertips to press down. Just let the head drop back. We're continually pressing the right knee away to maintain a 90-degree angle. And then we'll roll the chin to the chest. Keep the left hand behind you. Move this into a twist. Right arm across the body, pressing the forearm to the foot, foot to the forearm. And then you can start to crawl that your left hand behind you a little bit more as you twist a little bit more deeply. Maybe a soft bend to the back elbow. And you can look back and forth. Or you could look forward and then drop the head back a little bit. Find some motion in the neck that feels good. Feeling the sits bones planted down. Go ahead and unwind yourself, and we'll switch sides. You might need to shift the hips forward or up a little bit more to get the 90-degree angle with this knee. Fingertips towards the front of the mat or the room, and then let the head drop back, lifting up through the sternum and the collarbone. Drop the chin to the chest and begin to make your twist. Looking forward and back, or dropping the head back. Go ahead and unwind yourself. Unlace the legs. Take a moment here. We'll let the knees travel right and left. Releasing the low back. And then find a comfortable seated position. We're going to interlace the fingers, press the palms away, and then inhale. Raise the arms up, exhale, out in front. Inhale up, and exhale like you're pressing away. We're going to get a little bit more shoulder work in today. Starting to realize that I'm spending much more time on the computer, much more time writing things than I'm used to. So my shoulders and my wrists are getting a little bit more sticky. Couple more. And then after this one, we're going to separate the arms, flex the palms away, like you're trying to separate the walls, shoulder blades down the back, and just look left and right. Peeling as much as you can the fingernails back towards the forearms, and maybe stay looking to one side. My right arm is always a little bit more stiff than my left. And then we'll make fists and roll through the fists. You could nod the head if you wanted to, or just drop the head down one way and then the other. From here, we're going to roll forward to our all fours. And I'm just going to demo this from here. You can curl the toes under if you'd like to. We're going to take the knees into the hands. So if you want to do one at a time, go ahead. Or if you feel good, slipping the knees into both hands, go right ahead. And see if you can relax the palms so that you can let the weight of the body give you a little hand massage. If you're just doing one, go ahead and switch sides. And I'm kind of shifting my weight forward and back, left and right. This is definitely uncomfortable. Just kind of go in with this. Okay, and then come off of the hands. Sit on tops of the feet, and we're going to interlace the fingers and just draw figure eights. in one direction. And then switch directions. We're going to do one more thing on the hands and the wrists. And I'm just going to pull my sleeve up so that you can see. I think both of you did this with me. We've been in class, I think, together doing this. But you're going to start to work through the joints in the shoulder, the wrist, and the elbow by rolling that forearm forward so the inner eye of the elbow starts to come forward and back. And see if you can keep the whole palm on the ground. And once you've done 4 or 5 on one side or a little bit more, go ahead and switch sides. And so ultimately, when we're in our down dog, or even in our all fours, we have that active rolling of those inner arms forward, and you can see that that kind of creates a little less space here. So I'm taking my hands wider so that I can roll those forearms forward and then push up between my shoulder blades. We'll go ahead, plant the hands underneath the shoulders, or even the hands a little bit wider. Actively roll forward and then press up into your cat back. We're going to curl the toes under and lift the hips, downward facing dog. And then drop down onto the knees, keep the toes curled under, lift the sits bones, lift the chest into cow. Keep those toes curled under, press, rolling those inner arms forward and press back, downward facing dog. Keep going through this. You'll notice that your elbows do want to come out to the side. You can see if you can continue to roll them forward. That's much more stable for the shoulders. We're going from cat and then pressing up and through cow, cow, and then pressing up and through cat to downward facing dog. A few more times. Last one, and we'll end in our downward facing dog for a moment. And then just slide the left foot. So we want the big toe and the second toe to slide the Achilles tendon as you press the right heel a little bit more close to the floor. And switch sides. And back down. We'll bring the knees back down. Take the knees nice and wide. We'll give our shoulders a little rest here. Walk the hands behind you, maybe palms facing up, and let the forehead drop down. You can look left and right. And just let those shoulders release and relax. Bring the hands back forward. And then we're gonna roll forward onto the stomach. And find your Sphinx pose. Forearms slide forward. Press down, grip with the fingertips, and lift up to the chest. So the low half of the body, you can wiggle. Just want to think about the sternum coming forward as if we were up here. Same idea. Want the sternum to come forward. And you can let the head drop down. We're going to do a little bit of neck work here. Let the chin drop to the chest and then roll up. Opening the throat, tuck the chin, and roll the head back down. Inhale, roll up. Hopefully you're getting some stretch or sensation of elongation between the shoulder blades and the back of the neck. Healing, rolling the nose forward and up. Jaw away from the skull. Last one, and then we're going to drop down onto the belly all the way. From here, roll down. Make a pillow with the hands for the forehead, and just let the upper body relax for a moment. Go ahead, look left and right. We're going to do some quad work here, and I believe both of you are able to get the heel to the hip. If not, you can hold on to your pants, but we'll bend one leg, reach back, and draw the heel to the hip. So just to get a little bit more length, lift the hip a little bit and then drive it back down and bring the heel a little bit closer. So for right now, trying to get the heel towards the sits bones rather than to the outside of the hip. And just let the weight of the body drop down. Release that first leg and switch sides. We're bringing the heel to the hip, lifting up, and then drop the hip back down. Let the upper body, the weight of the body, come to the floor. Back to center, both legs down. You can wiggle the tailbone. And then we'll slide. Let's start on the right side, slide the right forearm forward. So we're lifting the chest, bend the left knee, and then big windmill action to capture the inside of the left foot and draw that heel towards the outside of the hip. If you can, begin to square the shoulders. Relaxing through the hips and the belly. And we'll come down and just switch sides. Left forearm across the body. Big windmill. So the hand faces away. Palm faces away and drawing the heel to the outside of the hip. We'll let that right leg come down. Curl the toes under, start to walk the feet closer to one another. And we're going to press into the floor, lift the chest like you're coming into your cow pose, and shift, press up. So we're in a mini upward facing dog. And then lift the navel, transition to downward facing dog. Press the ground away and wiggle the hips. Take the feet as wide as you need to, maybe bend the knees or shake the bottom. You can drop down onto the knees or just step the right foot forward and drop the left knee down. We'll press down into the floor with the left hand and take a twist. And then go ahead and palm away. Right hand to the low back. Twist a little bit more deeply. Unwind yourself. We'll frame the front foot. Shift your weight back for a little back of the leg stretch. Let the head be heavy. Feeling the weight of the body press into the floor. Come on back forward. Frame that foot, totally up to you. You could play with the knee down, upward facing dog, and then lifting the navel in downward facing dog, or just transition to downward facing dog. For the second side, we'll stay for just another breath here, working on bringing those elbows, inner elbows forward, pressing away. And then the left foot's gonna step forward and the right knee down. Inhale, lift. Take the hand to the low back and keep twisting. Unwind yourself. Plant the hands. Shift your weight back. Soft left toes, heavy head. Come on back forward, and your choice of how you'd like to get back to your downward facing dog. Maybe it's the knee down, upward again. Plank and downward facing. 3 more breaths. Then go ahead and roll all the way forward to plank. We'll drop the knees, drop the chest down. Inhale, lift into that upward facing. Press back and then release the whole body to the floor. Pause for a moment. Wiggle the tailbone. The forehead drop down. We'll bring the forearms back forward into Sphinx pose. From Sphinx pose, we're going to get a little bit deeper into those, what we were doing earlier, opening up the thighs, take the right forearm across the body, bend the back knee, reach for the toes, and then we're going to, instead of trying to draw the heel to the hip, we're going to try and press away to get a deeper back bend. Both hip points on the mat. That action of pulling the chest up a little bit. Come on down. And we'll take a moment. Forehead on the floor, bend the knees, and just draw circles with the feet in one direction. Switch directions. Second side, left forearm slides forward. Bend the right knee, big windmill action. So you hold on to the inside of the right foot and press away to lift up. Good stretch on the inner right arm. And come on back down. Bending the knees, making big circles, one way and the other. And we're going to take a break in child's pose. Slide the hands back, knees nice and wide. Press yourself back. Get a good stretch at the low back. We'll move the fingertips off to one side. Off to the other side. Back to center. And then before we go into the double leg back bend, we're going to walk the hands back. Swing the legs around and move and take a pinwheel pose. Your right shin comes forward and your left shin back, so we're in this little zigzag shape. It's also a modified pigeon pose. We're going to do some work here. We've all done this with me where we're rocking through the hips. So you're going to do that a couple of times, except this time you're ultimately going to rock forward and crawl off towards the right. And I can feel this all the way up through my back hip. Rather than coming forward like a pigeon pose, we're lifted and growing longer. You can feel free to look around as you drop that left hip forward, getting the big twist. And walk the hands around. And just shift sides. Left shin forward, right shin back. Roll back and forth a couple of times. So ultimately we're rolling and twisting. Unwind yourself. We'll move through downward facing dog. From the knees. Press yourself up and back. Bend the knees. Then try and drop the heels down just a couple of times, this little pumping, little soft movement, just like we did, similar to the top of class. And then your choice, you can drop down onto the knees or roll through your plank and get down to the floor. Of course, if you just want to do one leg at a time, that's great. Or we're going to extend the legs and then take the arms out to the side, tent the fingertips. As you inhale, lift the chest. So we're going to start with the back lifted and then bend one knee. Big windmill action to capture either the outside or the inside of the foot. Bend the other knee. I like to hold on to the outsides of the feet. And then I'm going to press my feet into my hands into my feet to find a back bend. Come on down. Forehead to the ground. You can drop the hands down and just look off to one side or let the forehead drop to the center. Second side. We'll tent the fingertips and lift the chest. Since I held on to the outsides of my feet the first time, I'm going to choose to hold on to the insides of my feet on the second round, but totally up to you. It's just a little bit different work for the shoulders. Find the hand placement that works best for you. Start to squeeze those inner thighs together as you lift. Keep breathing, 2 more breaths. And then come on down. Give the body a rest. We'll take the hands to the outsides of the waist as you again move back to your child's pose. Feel free to make a little pillow for the forehead here if the shoulders are still feeling a little sensitive, or take the hands behind you. Go ahead and roll yourself up. And we're going to take the right leg out. So you have lots of options here. You could keep one foot behind, or you could Janu Shirshasana, whichever works best for you. We'll take the right leg out. And then instead of right out in front, you're going to bring it off to about a 45-degree angle. I'll demo from this side. Turn towards the leg and forward fold. Nice soft knee. Maybe crawl forward a little bit more. Get some more length along the sideways to the back. Walk the hands up. And then you're going to turn the shoulders towards the knee, whether it's the foot is on the inside or it's bent like this, and slide the right arm down. Take a nice big twist. Of course, that back arm, if your shoulders have had enough, you can take the hand, palm face away, and encourage the twist by pressing on the inside of the thigh. Just let the head be heavy. Take another breath or so and then come on up and switch sides. Remember, the legs are a little bit wider instead of out in front. Folding over the left leg. So allowing the weight of the body to open up the back of the leg. The front of the leg is nice and soft. Maybe tent the fingertips. You could crawl forward a little bit more to get more length. Keeping the sits bones anchored down to the ground. Another breath or so. And make your way up. Turn towards the knee, slide the left hand down. Either sweep the arm up again or whatever works for this shoulder. I'm enjoying this kind of pressure on my low back. It's encouraging my chest to open some more, which feels like the right thing for me today. Come on back up. We'll bring both legs around for Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees apart. We're going to move this into a forward fold. So you could just come forward, maybe bring the elbows to the inside. There's lots of variations. You could have blocks underneath the knees or slide the hands underneath so that you're pulling the chest forward a little bit more. Or you could just come forward and fold. Massage the feet, maybe with the elbows, and we're going to stay here for about 7 breaths. So find a position that works best for you. So we're getting a nice big opening in the hips. Just letting the shape of the body do the work for you. Slowing down the breath. Go ahead and press yourself up. And we're going to assist the knees closed. Nice and slowly, holding on to the backs of the thighs. We're going to tuck the tailbone and just hang back a little bit. Just like we did at the top of class, sway the hips left and right. So we're going to practice a dynamic meditation. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat. Feel free to set yourself up with a blanket underneath the sits bones or blocks or bolster. And moving the flesh away from the sits bones. So this dynamic meditation is called, well, I guess it's just the dynamic meditation, but it's also known as time moving meditation. And I'm going to show you how it works. You may have done this with me, I'm not sure. So on an inhale with the hands, we'll start with the hands on the knees, cross-legged. You could always do this in a chair as well. Starting with the hands on the knees, we're going to inhale and turn the right hand in. And then exhale and lift the right hand up. Inhale and press the hand on the belly, and exhale, slide the right hand to the heart. Inhale, turning the left hand in. Exhale, raise the left hand up. Inhale, left hand on the belly. Exhale, left hand on top of the right. Inhale, right hand slides back down to the belly. Exhale, raise the right hand up. Inhale, right hand drops down to the knee. Exhale, right hand folds in. Inhale, left hand to the belly. Exhale, raise the left hand up. Inhale, left hand to the knee. Exhale, left hand down. Inhale, left hand opens. Exhale, left hand rises. Inhale, left hand to the belly. Exhale, left hand to the heart. Inhale, right hand opens. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, right hand up. Inhale, right hand to the belly. And exhale, right hand on top. Unwinding, left hand down, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, the hand down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hand to the tummy. Exhale, raise the right hand up. Inhale, hand to the knee. Exhale, hand down, and then we'll start on the right side. Go with the breath. Start with the left hand, maybe slow down the breath. Feeling the fingers move through space, feeling the breeze, the air between the fingers, the warmth of the hand on the body, and the body on the hand. Working with the left. We'll take one more round together. And the next time, both hands are on the knees. Go ahead and blink the eyes back open if they were closed. And we'll draw the hands together at heart center. You're more than welcome to take an extra couple of minutes and lie on your back. Or you can stay here if you'd like to continue the meditation. I thank you for joining me this morning. It's always such a joy to have folks around to move with and breathe with. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Be safe, be kind, and know that you are loved. Thank you.